I'm reading an article from this newspaper or magazine titled Facts in Review, and it was issued by the German Library of Information, and they were based in the German embassy. Well, I guess it was the German embassy who actually issued this. And this is from November 30th, 1939, and you can find about 20 issues on the Mourning the Ancient website. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of videos on these, but you should go check them out on the website because there was a whole bunch that were done in September of 1939 and October about Poland, and there is a ton of fantastic information in there. Obviously, contrary to what we've all been told. But anyway, regarding this article, it says the mask is dropped. Any hope of agreement between the warring powers in Europe seems to have been finally dashed by the replies of the heads of the French and British governments to the sovereigns of Belgium and Holland, and more particularly by Winston Churchill's radio address, titled War to the Knife. The complete annihilation of the enemy remains as the gruesome alternative. Right? That's what Churchill wants. That's what the Jews want. The Churchill speech leaves no other possibility open. Here we have a barefaced power politician speaking, an unscrupulous imperialist. If we disregard the mass of fine sounding phrases, we find beneath the camouflage a vain, self satisfied Pharisee, a narrow minded imperialist for whom the slogan of quote unquote Hitlerism is merely a means to his own ends, the smashing of every last bit of the German Reich, of any German Reich, and the erection of Britain's supremacy on its ruins. Winston Churchill, first Sea Lord during the First World War, incorrigible in his vengeful policies against the Weimar Republic, once again presents an easily influenced world opinion with the slogan Huns, right? Which obviously Germans aren't Huns, so it's just World War I propaganda that they're recycling. Continuing, which proved so effective in 1914. Winston Churchill, who vaingloriously sets himself up as a judge over the peoples of the continent, threatens them with all the power of the British Empire if they dare to oppose their own natural demands to the presumptions of the empire. What the best and noblest spirits of the German nation worked for in 1813 and 1848, a united German people, what was to have been begun in 1931 through the customs union is to be shattered and destroyed. Adolf Hitler or no Adolf Hitler. And that's from the magazine New York Staatszeitung Herald from November 14th, 1939. And on the bottom left, you can see that is a German language newspaper that's one of the oldest newspapers in the country. It's been around since the 1830s, and I believe it still is. So, and note with what Winston Churchill is saying here about the destruction of Germany. I did other videos on his ancestors. If you can go find them, I should have linked them here. Um, so his ancestors also helped destroy the continent of Europe back in the 1700s. And I think around 1700, it was titled "The War of the Spanish Succession," or it was also called Marlborough's War. And who was the Duke of Marlborough? A Churchill. You can't make this crap up. So his ancestors or his line have been evil, probably Jewish, I'm not sure, but evil for centuries. He also had another ancestor who was a proto-Zionist, right before the modern Zionist movement even really took off. One of his ancestors was a proto-Zionist, advocating for the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine, like 200 years ago or more. You can't make this stuff up, right? All history is connected. It's all one massive conspiracy.